YouTube family, it's your boy D. You know what time it is. I'm back with another banger. I'm pushing these videos out. I got another one coming after this, but today my boys got the braids with the C cup tapers on the side. So I'm going to fade those tapers up real good, and then I'm going to line them up and get them up out the chair. So today, guys, we're using the very basics of the basics. We're going to use a 2 guard. I want a half guard. We're going to use a 1 guard, and we're going to use a 1.5 guard, and then no guard. So first, I started out debulking, taking the darkness out of that haircut and working my way through my blend from my 2 to my 1 to my half. And as you can see, it's starting to lighten and blend and fade in. And so, as I always say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Okay. And I keep saying it. Repetition is the key, consistency is the key in understanding your tools and what you're working with. So you can see the fade start to transition. I'm using the tip of that blade. I'm using different angles and techniques while working my way through this haircut. And I really focused in on trying to show you guys a different emphasis point of cutting hair. Now this is sped up just a tad bit, but you guys can keep up and keep the gist of what I'm saying and what I'm doing and follow along. And so using that 1 guard, I'm using the angles and I'm working my way through my guards. There's a little bit of weight up in that parietal ridge area close to the braid. And so we're gonna work our way into that point. But first, I'm going to fade out and detail the bottom of that taper to make sure that there's no heavy weight in there. And I will show you guys how I approach that heavy weight at the top of the parietal ridge using clipper over comb. And as you can see, I'm doing a clipper over comb technique here. I think this is the first time I'm showing you guys, but as you can see, that debulking, it goes away. And I'm using it with my blade open so that it cuts less. If I need to cut more, I can go halfway or close with my clipper. But that kind of takes out a lot of that weight within that side. Understanding how to use these techniques, using the comb, turning the tips of the teeth out to your torso. That's a tip I learned from an older guy a few years back. And so if you guys can completely understand that, know how to work within your hair cutting skills, it'll work. And so here I'm using my 2 guard. I'm kind of debulking that hairline just a tad bit so that we can line it up. Not too much. Still keep it dark, but it just helps him. But you got to be careful with his braids so that we're working our way through this haircut. So we're going to go to the other side. And so you'll get a more full breakdown on this side, which is basically using my Babyliss FX trimmers to create the initial guideline. No facial hair, so we're gonna kill all that on the side, bald it out, got it clean, and kind of works our way into the haircut. Going forward, we kind of way through the transitions of this haircut. And I give a little bit more detailed transcript, the things that I'm doing on one side versus the other. That upside to get you guys going in the video was kind of a little more of a breakdown. You're seeing it, but it's not as fast. This side, I'm going to really break it down. So I'm starting with my 2, as you can see, and I'm debulking. We're getting that transition to a lighter taper fade. We're starting open with our 2. Then we're going to go midway and halfway. So as I'm open now, you see I've went midway, kind of bottom of that taper blended out with the 2. Working our way through my guides, I'll go close and we'll kind of way down to our 1.5 guard. From there, we'll go to our 1. And so you can see I'm always just taking my time, using my steps, using my basics, using my blueprint that I've taught myself over the years from different people that I've learned from. And it pretty much helps me cut hair and go through the basics of what I'm doing. So now using my 1.5, we're gonna do the same thing that we did with the 2. If it's not broke, don't fix it. That's my saying, that's my slogan, that's my go-to. And I really hope that you guys are learning from this. So I want you guys to let me know, really, I need somebody to say in the comments, let me know what you guys think and if you feel like you are learning from this. This is what I want. I want you to be able to learn from what I'm doing because I know that I have the skill set and I've been told I have the skill set. So I want you guys to understand and let me know how I can help you through this thing. And so we're working our way down to our one. You can see that taper starting to come together. It's simple, guys. It's really, really simple. Just have patience. You have to work within your guidelines. You have to know with what you're working with. So I'm blending that taper out, fading it out to the best that I can possibly fade it out, using the tip of the blade, not using the whole blade in certain instances, but making sure that the cut is well blended. These things surely help you get to that point of where you're understanding what you're trying to do within this haircut. If you can understand that, and then if you can get it under wraps, you will be a-okay. You will never have an issue, and it'll be much easier to do what it is that you think you're trying to do within your haircutting skills and your transition skills of getting better and progressing within becoming a barber, cutting hair at a high level. It can be easily done, you know. Over time, your set gets better. And as over time, as your skill set gets better, you get better. So if you can kind of just work on, you'll be a-okay, you know. That'll be the thing for you. And so as you can see, this taper has fully transitioned. It's fully transitioned into a beautiful fade, nice taper fade, and that's what we want. We want it to look good. We want it to have that great look that you need. If you can understand with working with and how to obtain that look that your client is working towards, you'll be all right. So using the tip of that blade, I'm now working into that taper, just blending it out and making it more burst to where the light to dark, very, very noticeable. These are things that you want. And I can't stress it enough. Your client will appreciate it more too. So understanding and doing that and knowing what you're doing, that will make it easier to obtain that look that your client is going for. That is the keynote to every haircut, every detail, every fine print, understanding how to do it. If you know how to do that, like I said, you will never have issues, never. We're gonna work our way into the lining. I've already done most of the lining. I did use the level 3 spray, guys, but I'm kind of just skipping over this video, showing you more so the good parts versus the more boring, but they are informative. If you kind of understand that, you know, from there, really work your magic and it'll get better. And so you kind of just you're working your way through the steps of achieving a final look. And that's always your end goal, is achieving that final look. Now for me, I am more so like a step-by-step blueprint person. I stick to the script, but I always am adding to my repertoire. And shout out to Red Kiss for the products that I got up there. Shout out to Beard Grill for the products that I got up there. Let me give them a little shout. But kind of doing, working my way this haircut, because he has braids, I have to be a little bit more cautious of his style of hair that he has, so that we don't cut any extra or overdo it and mess up his hairstyle that within the haircut look. Those are key, so you got to be very, very cautious. But see, I'm always combing. I'm using the tip of my blade when I'm lining, and I'm just making sure that everything's cleaned up underneath. When you use that ear, use your pointer finger to hold it down and kind of clean up. And from there, it's easier. The more you do it, the better you get. That's the best I could always say about this thing, is that you'll always get better. All right, guys, we're transitioning to the hairline, and as you know how I get down, I always tell you, I start from the middle, work my way to the left, to the right. And so, in doing so, basically, what I'm starting here is I'm going to go middle to my left, back to my right-hand side. And now you got to be very cautious and very understanding. Skin a little bit lighter, so it's more sensitive. If you're heavy and you apply heavy on light skin, it will show on their skin. So with that being said, these are things that you do have to take into consideration. Now, that being so, I'm working my way through this hairline using my JRL trimmers. I love these bad boys. They work a wonder. Um, and you can't go wrong ever with these bad boys. So basically, as I work my way from left to right, I'm taking my time. I'm going through the motions, working my way through this haircut, getting to where everything is gonna come together. But I'm just being very cautious. Also, to his hairline, the type of texture of his hair is different, so that has to be understood while doing this haircut. And so, as I work my way through his lineup, going from one side to the other, this kind of points out the emphasis that basically the look that we're going for, the things that we're trying to achieve has to be done in an ordinance, in an organized manner to reach that point of emphasis. And that's what I'm trying to do here within this haircut and working on lineup. And I'm always combing after every stroke. You guys can see that. And so as I work on his C cups on his left hand side, you're getting a front point of view of what that looks like. And watch as my hand moves, but I keep my pointer finger close to his face to help guide me. That will help guide you through this haircut to be able to get to the point to where you're seeing everything and it looks good and it's come together. Those will help you in the long run because it creates the look that we're going for with this haircut. And we're trying to reach a certain level of expertise so that we have a fine tuned, clean haircut. And so as I get the left side done, me and my client are chopping it up. I'm gonna go to this right side here soon. But before I do that, I have to just detail, pay attention to dot my I's, cross my T's. So you gotta kind of just be what you're working through, work your way through your transitions of your haircut. Get to the point of where you kind of just know what you're doing, but you take your time. Taking your time is the key part within cutting hair, and I cannot make that or stress that enough. Take your time, focus, pay attention to what you're doing, and if you can do that, you'll never have any issues. You'll always be able to perfect your haircut and get better and better. And the key point of what we want to do is get better in transition. And so I'm taking my time through this cut. This was actually my first time cutting his hair. So that makes a huge difference for me because with new clients, I really make sure I take my time. And that's something that you really got to pay attention to, is that you take your time within what you're doing and when you're doing your haircuts. Because if you can take your time, you can pay attention, you won't mess up. You won't have any issues. You won't have any flaws. You'll make sure that everything is exactly how the client wants it. And that makes a huge difference. And so for me, I kind of pay attention. I'm working my way from that left side back to that right side, but I'm always combing because of the type of hair he has. It makes for the type of texture that it is. And so you have to be very precise with that. And so you guys seeing it from this point of view, you're seeing this come together. I've done that side now, kind of skipped to that part so that you see it. And now I'm detailing it even more, kind of just really into it, making sure that everything looks good. It's lined up. His C cups match up each side, working my way across through his lineup. For me, that makes a bit of a difference, okay? For some people, it doesn't. And so you've seen that. Now I'm going to jump back to the side and I'm going to work my way through it. And in doing so, I'm working my way through this haircut so that it kind of gets you where we started, how we got there, and then going back through it and then actually showing you guys how we got to this certain step or level. Doing that is easy and it makes a difference. And so for me, I kind of just understand, I can see it visually, and you show it to me, then I can do it. And so I kind of reference to everybody's like me, but if that's how I learn, that's how I'm going to teach and educate and show others how I do it. So working that C cup, I've already done the top. Now I connected the bottom, and then we're going to bring it all into one. You see my pointer finger. We're just using it kind of doing this. Just pulling the skin a little bit, using the tip of that blade and the end of the opposite end of the blade to make sure that it connects. Once we get to that point, that the haircut where everything connects from the vertical bars to the C cups, you kind of got to seeing that and then doing such, it makes it easier to understand how to get to that level or to get to that point of emphasis. But you got to kind of just understand doing that. You understand that, okay, boom, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working for. Now I know how to get there. And now we have a finished product. And so using the razor, I'm going to show you guys how I do it, making sure I pull that skin opposite way of where I'm going, have a little tension, but we're kind of creating that C cup line. And as you can see, that taper, nice blend, nice detail. Look at the skin, nicely lined, no damage, no cut skin, no burnt skin, none of the above. Makes a huge difference on when you're trying to do an achieved look and a desired look for your client. So we're going to show the other side. Boom, same thing. Stretching the skin, pulling the skin, getting that view. You can see it from the point of view of the camera. You can get the angle view from it. Seeing it and then actually doing it, it helps when you're doing it because you can visualize what you've seen and then put it into play. It's like when he calls a play and then you see it, he shows it to you, then you go do it, you execute. Boom, we've executed. So now we see it, we've done it, and it's done. Okay, so this video is coming to an end, guys. Do me a favor, please, like, subscribe, comment. This finished look, let me know. I love it, turned out good. He loved his cut. Daughter's kind of gotten in the back, trying to keep them hidden because, you know, people on whatever. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, comment. It's your boy D, and we out.